Hey everyone, welcome to Scared Yet. This is a channel that I've been dabbling in for almost a year now, and I gotta say I've never been more happy to tell scary stories for the world to listen to. Whether this reaches a large audience or not, I just want to express my appreciation and thanking those who have taken the time to listen. Your time is the most valuable thing that you can give, and for me to have that little bit of time in your life is more than I can ever think. So thank you on that note. Anyways, well, tonight's story is pretty much a Home Alone story. So if you're home alone, well, good luck, and hopefully it doesn't scare you too much. But it's a really good story. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. And anyways, sit back, relax, and please get some well-deserved sleep. And I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya. Someone keeps slipping notes underneath my bedroom door, but I live alone. There was a strange noise coming from downstairs, feet resounding against the wooden floor. But why did they sound so uneven? It might have been a strange walking nightmare. I had been having trouble sleeping lately. When Mom called the next morning, I didn't mention the sounds, or the headaches, or the nausea.
Are you sure you're feeling okay?
She asked.
Maybe I should come home early.
No, I'm fine, trust me.
She was always so overprotective. That night, the noise kicked up again as something boomed up the staircase. My limbs froze. I sat perfectly still and listened carefully. The house was ghost quiet. It was probably just a fever dream. Sleep came in short bursts. One day drifted into the next. The courage to leave my room only came when it was bright outside. Each time I stood up, my stomach churned like it would on a roller coaster, and I couldn't shake the feeling like hidden eyes were crawling all over my skin. The footsteps thudded again, faster than before. They made their way through the upstairs hall and stopped right outside my bedroom door. A floorboard creaked. My eyes bulged out of their sockets as four tiny appendages reached under the door. A child's fingers. A scrap of paper slid into the room. Then the sound moved down the hall. I leaned over the edge of the bed. In front of me was a note. It said, "You aren't safe. Just a fever dream." If Mom knew what was happening, she'd race straight home. So I kept lying whenever she called.
Everything's fine, I just need to rest.
Another scrap of paper slid into the room. This one had a crayon drawing of a monster clutching a knife. There were words scribbled beneath it. "Pigman is coming." Imaginary spiders scurried across my back, sending a shiver along my spine. What was a pigman? My nightmares became plagued with flashing images of terrible snouts and hooved feet. In one, a group of ferocious hogs chewed at my stomach lining, while I lay on an oak table. The shiny red apple lodged in my throat stifled my screams. When I woke up, the pillow was soaked with sweat. Fever dreams. When I next heard the sound, it was dashing up and down the hall. It moved through the house, opening and closing drawers. The sound disappeared into my parents' bedroom, producing a thudding echo. Then, stillness. I went back to sleep. The following morning, there was a photo album on my parents' bed. Opened at a picture of two children. There was a baby, who I recognized, and a girl, who I didn't. She looked strangely familiar, though.
Do I have a sister?
I asked my mom, staring at the photo. She paused for a moment, as if confused by the question.
What?
Do I have a sister?
I repeated.
You know you don't.
But did I ever have one?
She said nothing. I spoke in an assertive tone,
Did I ever have a sister? Answer me.
You're delirious. Your father and I are gonna catch next flight home.
I got Dad's shotgun from the tool shed. Would it hurt a ghost? Probably not. But having it made me feel safe. She was back. And what's worse, I was too sick to stand. It felt like I was trapped inside of a furnace. My mouth was dry with terror. The bedroom door creaked open, then something crossed the room. I craned my neck and saw her. The girl from the photo. She was about 7. Her frame was bent, each limb wrenched at an extreme angle. One foot pointed sideways, and there was a naked skull. She watched me, unblinking, and my breathing stopped. The little girl looked scared. For some reason, that terrified me. She spoke in a quiet voice.
Please, don't go back to sleep. Pigman is coming.
She vanished. Terrible images of humanoid pigs flashed through my mind. It took every last ounce of strength my body could summon to stand and face the door. A new noise came from downstairs. These footsteps were different from the others. They were heavier, more ominous. It was how a pig man might have sounded. I couldn't help think. The adrenaline pumping through my veins barely kept me awake. The barrel of the gun trembled. The footsteps passed through the kitchen into the dining room. The sound of its maker was traveling through the house in a stealthy sort of way, like it didn't want to be heard. The footsteps climbed the stairs. They were slow and careful, deliberate. Doors opened and closed throughout the house. The pig man was searching for something, or someone. My head was swimming. The steps came to a halt outside of my room. Panic swelled in my chest. I could feel a heavy presence, bestial and vicious, on the other side of that door. This was no fever dream. The handle turned, but why did the pigman want to come in so badly? I hid behind the door. A looming presence, so tall, it had to duck through the frame just to step inside. I bit my bottom lip so hard it drew a trickle of blood. The shadowy figure craned its neck, surveying the room. When it finally settled on me, I saw a hideous snout and 2 dark sunken holes. My pulse skyrocketed. Without warning, it lunged forward. I squeezed the trigger. The shot was deafening. The figure staggered back and hit the wall, staining it red. I reloaded. Before I could fire again, the figure disappeared. A trail of thick, dark blood receded down the hall and around the corner. I heard the pigman tumble down the stairs, grunting all the way. The walls started bobbing from side to side, as though I was standing on a boat caught in a fierce storm. The last thing I remember is the light bulb swirling above my head. When I woke up, a paramedic was hunched over me. 2 police officers were standing behind him. The neighbors had heard the gunshots and called the authorities. They found a man wearing a rubber pig's mask crawling through the backyard. He was later identified as the one responsible for a series of fatal home invasions. I told the police what happened, leaving out the part about the girl, but they said I was lucky to be alive. When my parents got home, they made a huge fuss, of course. Mom insisted I stayed in bed and checked my temperature 50 times a day. Eventually, I worked up the nerve to ask her again whether or not I had a sister.
Why would you think that?
She asked. I told her about the photo of me as a baby and the girl I didn't recognize. She clutched her chest.
The truth is, you had a sister. Her name was Abby. She died in a car accident when you were less than a year old. We were waiting for the right moment to.
Her voice trailed off. We cried and hugged. Later that night, after both my parents had gone to sleep, I heard the footsteps one final time. Another scrap of paper slid underneath the door. This one was a crayon drawing of me holding hands, with a little girl like the one in the photo. Hovering above us was a purple heart. When I woke up the next morning, my fever broke.